being able to see your life in a way as a creative expression, like a piece of music or a piece of art that allows you to find the balance between this control and letting go. Because it's not that you want to completely let go of all control, and it's not that you want to kind of control the letting go. It's about bringing them together in a creative way, which requires you to be engaged on both sides. So most of us we're not balanced. We're either too controlling or we're too free. We're too strong, in inverted commas, in a weak way, or we're too weak in a kind of strong way. And that just creates unhappiness. That's what I've seen. It just creates people who are not really enjoying life, who feel heavy about what they're doing. Everything feels unaligned, but they don't know what to do about it. They feel like they're fighting through life, or they're wading through life. And ultimately, in both directions, they end up feeling as though life's not treating them very well. When you exert a lot of control, you create force and you create resistance, and then that resistance pushes back at you, and then you have to force things more, and it pushes back at you more. You get a lot of this in business because there's a lot of force and a lot of control exerted in business. And in the end, that resistance becomes so strong that people get really tired because the energy doesn't flow very well. It's exhausting. And when you've been doing that for a long time, it gets very, very heavy. And that's why so many people, they can create maybe success, but the happiness and the joy and the fulfillment are not there at the same time, because really it's become all about me. You know, when you're pushing and controlling, it's all about you. There isn't this sense that there is this beautiful thing called life that's flowing through you and gives you the energy even to do that business. If you don't have that understanding, that knowledge, if you feel like this is all about me, I've got to push this thing, that's what you do. And you divorce yourself from the energy, the life energy that actually will do so much of it for you. And when you cooperate with that energy, you have the experience that much more is being done. You don't have to do it. Ultimately, that view that it's all about you leads to an extremely ego-driven position where you literally deny the greater powers of life, and it becomes very lonely and isolated and unpleasant. You feel unsupported, like nobody's really with you, and you spend your whole time leading and controlling and trying to make things happen and doing the right thing by everybody. But you don't get that sense of love and support around you that comes from being more aligned with life. When you are afraid to be who you are, and maybe you've been shamed about who you are as a child and made to feel guilty and all those kinds of things, when you're afraid to be who you are, you're constantly looking for who you're supposed to be. It's like, so what am I supposed to be? How can I make your life better? Mother, father, parents, teachers. How can I fit in with your expectations of me so that my life feels more comfortable and more survivable? And we develop these very, very subtle antennae that tell us how we're supposed to be to fit into this rather strange world that we've landed in as small children. We get very, very skillful at surviving by fitting ourselves around other people's expectations. But the thing about that is, in doing that, we deny our own wishes and our own inner desires. And when you're very relaxed, you will find that you're not just pushed around by life, but life really expresses itself through a sense of desire. And some of it's quite human desires. I want to have this experience. It might be what appears to be quite material stuff that's often rejected by spirituality. A house, a job, some work, all kinds of things that you want, clothes, who knows what it is. there are things that rise up in you that you say, I want this. Because if you don't have that, you don't have anything to express in life. But when you're really alive, you do care. And it's a relaxed kind of way. There's a way in which you just want to have this joy of expression, and your feelings are an amazing indication to those desires and wishes that you hold within you that are truly your own rather than somebody else's. There is no one else who can express life in the way that you can. And so when you spend your time trying to express life in the way that other people think you ought to, or tell you you ought to, in order to make them somehow happy, you always feel as if you're denying who you really are. And if you want to have a really full expression of being human, there's this intense desire somewhere inside us to express that uniqueness, to really bring the gift of our own perspective into life and to share that with other people. And the way you find that is through these feelings. I'm not really talking about emotions. Emotions can be very reactive to things, although the emotions are a guide. If you're reacting very negatively to something, that's going to produce some very unpleasant feelings. And it's those feelings that are an energetic experience within you that allow yourself to guide yourself towards what feels aligned, what arises really naturally from within the expression of your soul into this body, and to guide yourself away from what feels really heavy and unpleasant and unaligned with who you are. And so this brings us to the exploration of the questions. What's a great question? When you're feeling unaligned, when you ask a good question, you can find the answer that feels aligned, that feels good, that feels full and fulfilling, that feels rich and abundant in its expression of your life. And you can turn away from the direction that feels as if it's blocking you or slowing you down, or it's really heavy. Very often it's about asking a question that combines, that brings you the best of both worlds. So often we're stuck. It's like, if I go this way, I lose all the benefit of that. If I go that way, I lose the benefit of that. And I feel like I can't do both. These are the situations that challenge us the most. I want this and I want that, and I can't do both. And how do I manage that? And it's when we ask a question that says, how can I have the best in this situation? How can I have what I want over here and what I want over there? And that's what opens us up, because you're looking for something which you don't know. You've never been to that place before, and that's why you feel stuck. If you knew it already, you'd already be there, or you'd be on the way. You wouldn't feel stuck. So the questions you ask in those stuck places are really important, because we usually back and forth between the hard place, the rock, the hard place, and the sharp stick. It's like, I can't go forward. Whichever direction I look, I can't go forward. Then you start to ask a good question that is looking for how I can have all of this, not just one part or another part. That opens you up. Whatever answers come, feel the energy. Where the energy feels really good, but causes another problem, this feels amazing, but now it clashes in a different way with that, ask another question, so that you can gradually create this alignment between all the desires that arise within you, that are your natural expression of life, and bring them into a harmonious whole, if you like. And what you'll find is every desire that comes up creates some disharmony with something. That's the discord. That's the story of the music unfolding. And then you can ask another question to bring a resolution to that discord. And this creates great beauty in our life, this interplay between the discord and the harmony. And that's what creates this unfolding story and a a drama that has a purpose rather than a drama that's just whirling around between the rock and the hard place and the sharp stick. Rather than the drama that's just about hurting yourself, it becomes an unfolding drama or an unfolding story of fulfilling yourself. Maybe that's why stories always ended up with, and they lived happily ever after. Because if you really connect with the story that you are participating in creating through this very engaged, very alive way of living, then there is a sense in which you're living happily ever after because you're actually happy now. And when you're really happy now, it is ever after. It is creating your ever after. And if a tension arises because you have this wish, there's something you really want to experience, and it clashes with another part of your life, and then you ask another question, and then you resolve that, and you go from discord to harmony, and then there's another discord, and then you move to harmony. It's a beautiful experience, and it creates great happiness both within you and all around you. So when you can do that, you really can have the experience that there is a flow to life. You can let go and allow life to unfold, but you're not being pushed around by life because you are connected with who you are and the greatest expression of your own life. And you're constantly connecting with that. Every time you find that discord, again, you need to connect. Okay, what's an even greater expression here? How can I make my life even richer, even fuller, even better, even simpler, even more beautiful, even more how I would simply love it to be? And from question to question, from answer to answer, to solution, you create, and it unfolds, and you feel that you're in this beautiful dance with life. There's a counterpoint to it. There are different flows that are all dancing around each other and dancing with each other that create these storylines and create the expression of beauty through your life. And so it gradually becomes something that you're playing with, not something that you're struggling with.